Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Pixel Pickers podcast. It is officially Summer Games Fest week, and we here at Pixel Pickers are so very excited. And let's get introductions knocked out of the way. I am Josh, and I am joined by my co-host, as always. Say hello, Jarvis.
Hello, Jarvis. Hey,
So
how's it going?
it's going great. So
Nice. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about Summer Game Fest right now. It's given me more warm fuzzies than anything at the Switch announcements did.
yeah, I would. So if we're comparing it to the Switch announcement when that
Yeah,
happened a month or two ago, I would say there's definitely more hype here.
yeah,
And with how the Switch 2 has been, anecdotally performing,
yeah.
I mean, it kinda
We're maybe what 3 days post launch at this point at time of recording.
yeah, about 3, yeah, it was
Yeah, and I mean, for folks out there, historically, it doesn't sound great right now. The Switch 2 launch, like a disaster, but I mean, at least they're available. That's pretty cool.
are they? I haven't even looked, I couldn't secure a pre-order, and I didn't even
I've just
look.
heard a lot of stories about people picking them up, so that's cool.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think I need it right now.
Nope. I'll stick with my I don't need a Switch 2 until the Duskbloods come out. And then I will go back and, play all, my Donkey Kong and Mario Kart then.
So I do really wanna so Mario Kart, now that I've seen more of it, that initial trailer, really good, but now that I've, watched
Yeah.
a lot of gameplay of it, I'm like, "Oh,
It doesn't hit as
the
well.
open world, the Mario Kart-ness of it looks fine, but, man, the open world does not look fun, to me at
No.
least." And I was like, "Oh, they're
Yeah,
gonna do
I
some
absolutely
crazy
agree.
Nintendo things," and they
Oh,
don't really, and I feel
yeah, because and you're always driving at, your, off-road speed, and it's like, why are we limiting the fun of the crazy kart racer game? It's crazy. What a wild decision.
yeah, so really
Okay,
the
but
only
that we're on talking about nice, happy, bright, summery things. Summer Game Fest, as Josh
I
stated up top.
also known as Key 3, since it's ran by Jeff Keighley.
Oh,
So yeah,
I get it.
so Summer Game Fest technically it started with the Unreal engine updates, where they showed
Yeah,
off Witcher 4, which looks real good from what we
yeah.
saw.
The state of Unreal
Yeah, the State of Unreal is what it's
was
called.
yep. Very. The state looks good.
Yeah, man, Witcher 4 looking real pretty. We didn't really see anything substantial other than that. It's a video game where there are people in it and you can walk around and it looks Polish and cold.
Oh my man, did you not watch that horse segment? That
Oh,
2 minute diagram of this is how your horse will move?
my
You're
favorite
telling me that's not a lot?
I loved when they, went to the side and just, did the X-ray vision, but the X-ray vision was such lower budget than the rest of everything else. It was like a
Yeah,
JPEG of horse
absolutely.
muscles popped up, and I was like, "Okay,
It
if
looked
that's w"
like a fucking Mortal Kombat 9 X-ray hit
no,
of that device.
yeah, it really did, and I was like, if you just because when they showed it from the side profile, you could see the muscles contracting under the skin of the
Yeah,
horse and everything, you didn't need to do
it
that.
looks
It
so
actually
cool.
made me laugh. I was like,
Yeah,
"Why would you do that?" But,
yeah,
they're going
good stuff.
good stuff. So that's really the only big thing that came out of that other than just Unreal Engine 5's crazy. I'm not a game
Yeah,
developer,
looks
so
great.
I can't really talk to other than, "Wow, looks pretty. Hope it makes good games."
Yep, yeah,
But Key 3 Summer Game Fest really started with the Sony State of Play that got announced and happened, 2 days before Summer Game Fest actual happened. So I'm gonna run through some of the games that, got announced in the order they came out. Just let me know whichever you wanna talk about. I'm gonna go first,
yeah.
so Pragmata
Yeah, real
Pragmata
quick, to our video viewers, you might notice us looking down a lot or, looking at stuff. We're just consulting notes and stuff. We took, yeah, copious notes, and I have, different pages open so that we can easily reference things because there are a ton of games to talk about. Oh, oh, what's going on over there?
Thunder. Oh, dear.
Oh, actually, I think I kind of hear some thunder. Where I mean, we're about 20 minutes apart, so oh, yeah, no, loud
Yeah, I
thunder.
just heard it
Damn.
from your end. Yeah, I heard it over my sound canceling
Ooh,
headphones, like, "Oh, that's not great." Okay, it's okay, the baby, you can see him in the corner over there, my dog, he already went POTTY. I can't say it 'cause then
nice, nice.
he'll know, but,
Pops
yeah,
up.
he will just, like, shoot to attention. But, yeah, so the state of play, Pragmata?
Pragmata, that's how I'm gonna go.
Yeah, so
Near Automata,
yeah, let's just go
Pragmata,
Pragmata. So
yeah.
Pragmata got announced, I would say what? That's a pre-pandemic game that got announced,
Uh, so
right?
it has a note at the end of the trailer, and it says 2022 X, and then, like, whenever they were trying to move it to, and then it says, "Sorry, 2026." So it was supposed to be released in 2022,
Okay, 'cause it
but
just
so it is
disappeared.
absolutely pre-pandemic of an announcement.
Yeah, because that game, it was assumed to be either canceled or vaporware. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember Capcom had just done this before. Going into the PS4's launch, they had a game called Deep Down, which was like a
yeah.
third-person dungeon crawler that looked too good to be true. Kind of like how Pragmata looked way too good to be true.
Yeah, and didn't they, was is Capcom have something to do with Drakengard? Is that them?
No, Drakengard is the Near people. That's the Near franchise.
That is the Near people, okay, sorry.
I think
There
that's
well, there was
Sega, I'm
a
pretty sure, like
dragon
Bandai Namco.
franchise that Capcom had that they, abandoned. I think that was gonna be released on the Xbox
Oh,
360.
you're thinking of on Xbox One, you're thinking of Scalebound,
Yeah, was
and that
that was
was
Capcom.
platinum, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure that was platinum.
Oh, wow, that's even
Yeah.
more sad.
I was super excited for that game because it
Me too.
looked like Devil May Cry with dragons. I was like, "This
Well, it
looks."
released with a demo, or it didn't release with a demo, but they put out
They
a
showed
demo, and it
gameplay.
was kinda sick. Yeah,
Yeah,
like, you could download the demo at home, and I played it, and it was super fun, and then I just remember it just eventually disappeared.
just faded
Unlike
into
Pragmata.
nothingness. Yeah, so apparently it's coming out, they showed gameplay. Man, so we're big Capcom boys here. The
Yeah.
RE engine looks such like the RE engine that, like, I knew this was
Yeah.
a Capcom game. The second it came up on screen, I was like, "That's a Capcom fucking face right there."
That little girl's hair, are you kidding me? Like, come on.
That is such Capcom. I thought the gameplay, what we saw looked cool. I look forward to seeing
Yeah.
more about it.
I'm not too, I would say, overly hyped. It looks like the same sort of build up a stun meter on your enemy, burst the enemy, slash them down. Like, but it's Capcom. I hope it's a lot weirder than the initial trailer makes it look, which is kind of weird. But I want full weird. Little weird blondie Mega Man girl, because that is exactly who she is supposed to evoke.
Yeah,
Obviously.
she's got the blue, she does the Mega Buster thing.
Yeah, so it's like a Mega Man, Lone Wolf and Cub,
You know what,
like a
like,
Leon, Maria, and Richter in Castlevania, bringing in Konami. I mean, She's kind of reminds me of
I could I c
Maria.
I could see it, yeah, just, like, how she looks and acts. So, one thing
Yeah,
this game
yeah.
does remind me of, so stick with me on this comparison. Do you remember, like, those PS3, like, mid-tier, I don't wanna say budget games, but, like, mid-tier things like
Yes.
Binary Domain?
Yep. That is
That's, like,
exactly
the
what it
vibe
reminds
I'm
me of.
getting off of this, which I
Well, it
I
has
I
the
love.
exact same aesthetic too,
Yeah,
which is like
Binary
near
Domain meets
future.
Vanquish is, like, the
Yeah,
vibe I got,
exactly.
which
Yep.
I will play that. I love both those games. Binary
Yeah.
Domain is a sleeper hit from the PS3 era. It looks
Yep.
generic. It sounds generic. It is fun as hell.
It's a
So,
hit. But also mention Vanquish. I think that's also kind of a sleeper. Not as many people as you'd expect know about it.
but, hey, you can go play Vanquish now. It works on, I think it's on all modern consoles, PS4
Yeah.
through the PS5, but
Yeah. So
play it.
PS4, so basically on it. Yeah.
That's a dope game too. But back to the Summer Games Fest. So next,
Yeah,
speaking
let's
of
go.
those like mid-tier developers that put out really good games that people love, Suda51 showed a crazy trailer for Romeo is a
Yeah,
Dead Man. And I saw it, I was
it
like,
looks pretty sick.
I'm not the big Suda guy. I know that's the guy who like runs it. I don't remember the team
Mm,
is called.
no, it is Suda51. That's the name of the studio.
Okay. I so
I think
I've
it is also his first name.
oh, okay, because I've never played No More Heroes. And I think I played one of his games and then I stopped playing because there's a mini game where you just try to look up girl skirts. And I was like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
So, the
Oh,
trailer
sorry, no, it is
Grasshopper,
the studio is called Grasshopper Manufacture.
that's
Yeah.
what it was. Uh, this game looks cool. Uh, you know, I'll probably give it a
I'm
try
not
when it
gonna
comes
play it.
out. I mean, it really depends. It
If it comes to me free, I'll play it. That's what I have to say. Unless it's, revered and everyone that I trust says it's good. Then I'll, go ahead and give it a try. But I just know that I'm not really in that place where I like that type of weird action game.
I'm always down for an action game. I'm not gonna lie. But okay, so
That's totally fair.
I can't get you on an action game. What about a horror game with action elements? Because next they showed off
Oh, I
Silent
mean, we
Hill
saw a
F.
couple of them here.
Actually, yeah, no, we saw a lot of cool horror games just the entire weekend.
Uh-huh. I agree.
But
This is going to be a tough podcast. It could be very long. We shall see how much we edit ourselves.
it's gonna be rough because we're only like 3 games in, and we're
Yep.
about 12 minutes in, and there's a lot more games. I think the
Yeah,
actual
and
regular.
hey, Summer Game Fest has, a good amount for us to talk about, but quite a few stinkers that we're just going to skip. The
Yeah,
Xbox announcements,
I mean that
holy shit.
those are some bangers. But let's get to this
Those are some bangers.
Silent Hill F. They showed gameplay. Man, I'm vibing with this game. I'm vibing real
I was
hard.
surprised. Who expected it to be such a actiony Silent Hill game?
Again, I don't know if that's just like the edit for the trailer or not, but
I
it
don't know.
it looks like
This is supposed to be the Resident Evil 4 of Silent Hill.
I mean, wasn't that just like Downpour and all those like the ones that made Silent
No,
Hill die?
those would be your like what Revelations, right? Resident
Oh, but those are
Evil.
fun though.
r- Yeah, I know. I mean, Konami doesn't do things as well as Capcom does. For the most part, they have some games that I and series that I will revere as better. Apologies if anyone hears a loud stomping around. Ruby is in and out of the room because she will cry if I close the door. My apologies.
Ah, it's fine.
But yeah, it's just that I think Konami can't deliver on their weird small projects as well as they can on their like higher big budget projects, and that's why we see a lot of death in Silent Hill. But
I
yeah, yeah, it could be the edit, could be the gameplay, not sure.
I hope this game does well because this is what the one of the 4 games that were announced at that Silent Hill Direct like a year
Yes.
before Silent Hill 2 Remake came out. Remake came out, did great. They had that
Yep.
choose your own adventure game where like it was a community
Did
voted game.
absolutely horrible.
Absolutely stanker.
Everyone hated it.
There's an Annapurna game, I think, and don't know how that one's doing because of what went down with that company. They might still
Yeah.
be able to pull that one through. But this game looks sick. Like it looks really scurry. Gave very much
Yeah,
Siren
absolutely.
vibes. I know it's just because it's in Japan and like those like
Yeah,
village
and it's a
towns.
schoolgirl.
Yeah, but it gave those vibes so hard. I was like, you know what? I'm about it.
I
And
agree.
it's very melee focused, which Silent Hill always has had
Yeah.
is very melee, but you've had guns, right? Like you have shotguns,
Yeah.
pistols. This one's like you got a bat. I think she had like a pike or whatever the Japanese like weapon is.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Yeah, but she had one of
Yeah,
those at one
I think
point.
it's like a Nagoichi, but if it's not, I don't care.
Look, man, you think I should know these? I've been playing Japanese games for years. I don't know it. That look cool.
Yeah.
Quick shout out. There's a new Bloodstained coming out. Hopefully that one runs better.
Yeah.
I only played it on
That
Switch where
one
it
looks
ran
at
bad.
hey, yeah, I was gonna say, we've had this discussion, off air. The Bloodstain, absolutely awful Switch port, absolutely great. Just if you play it on the PlayStation, I assume probably not that bad on the PC either, if it's on there.
Yeah, might have to get back around to that, but yeah, that I thought that trailer looked sick. Uh,
Absolutely. A
the
lot of, like, really cool in-engine stuff.
Yeah, it looks like it swaps in and out of, like, the 2D perspective, really using that 2.5D
Yeah.
perspective to be other
Yeah,
than we
which
don't wanna do pixel art, you know? It
exactly,
makes it
and
worth it.
that's cool. I'm glad we're seeing that.
And then the next one, this is one for all you Final Fantasy sickos. Final Fantasy Tactics, their 2D HD version, except it's not 2D HD, it's just a up-res, and
Yeah.
it doesn't
It
look
just looks a little up-resed.
yeah, it doesn't look too much prettier, but fully voiced, new voice
Yeah,
acted for the War of the Lions, edit, which people tend to
that's
love.
cool.
I'm not a tactics guy, so they
No,
didn't
I
really
did not like have never enjoyed Final Fantasy Tactics at any, point at which I've played it, which from PS1 era to now, playing it maybe last year or the year before on an emulator.
okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one who can't
Just,
get into that
could never
game.
get into it.
But a lot of people do love that game, so there you go. Metal Gear Solid 3 trailer came out also, and sure, yeah,
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 3 looks cool. Did they tease Metal Gear Online at the end? Am I tripping?
I don't know if that was intentional or not.
It felt very intentional, which I would be super excited for because I never got to play the original Metal Gear Online because my PS2 didn't have internet connection. I didn't know what Wi-Fi was in
Same.
2005 or whatever that was. So I never got to play
Yeah,
that one, but I played a lot of Metal Gear Online 2 and Metal Gear Online 3 with 4 and 5 respectively. So I would dip my toes back into an MGO community if they came out because I'm not too terribly excited about Metal Gear Solid 3 and like you can't see, but I have a shrine to Metal Gear back there. My only tattoo is Metal Gear, so me saying
yeah.
that, you know,
You should be.
I should be. I'm like, it looks cool. It's going to be very pretty, but like I just I now that I have the Master Collection, it's super easy for me to go play Metal Gear Solid 3, and if it's just
Yeah,
prettier with nothing really adding on to it, I don't see the point.
exactly.
Like Resident Evil 2 Remake is not just a prettier version of Resident Evil 2. Silent
No,
Hill 2 Remake is not just a prettier version of Silent Hill 2. Final Fantasy,
exactly.
like it needs to be additive to the experience. But if it
Yep,
has MGO, that could be enough for me. Like look, I'm going to get it either way, but my excitement level
right.
will drastically shoot up if MGO's there.
Yeah. We'll see what sort of, online capabilities this actually is gonna come to in the game. But yeah, I'm not really too hyped for that one, I will say, unfortunately. I'm a medium to high, MGS fan, so but the just does not really catching me.
Yeah,
Remakes in general, not really catching me, I'll say.
it depends. It's we'll talk about that. We're gonna circle back around to that way later in this
Yeah.
podcast. Also, Neo 3 got announced. Looks sick. It's got a demo out, so you can try it.
Yeah.
I download demo. Haven't had a chance to play it yet. Uh,
Oh, it is a very difficult demo to download. At least it was for me. I literally couldn't search it in the store, like on my PlayStation. Couldn't search it in the store on my PlayStation app, and then, but I was able to just Google it and find it, and then go to the PlayStation website and do that. And I'm like, why is
so
this?
it,
Why was this
they
difficult?
made it weirdly complicated. So the way you get the demo is you go to the store page, you click on more,
Yeah,
and then you can get the demo. It's like
so weird.
obtusely hidden because I spent like
Oh, I couldn't even get to Neo 3 on the store at the time after announcement when I was trying to
oh
download it.
oh
Yeah,
okay.
it was a rough one.
Yeah, look, the store system, it's
Oh, it's
there.
it's it's
The
not the worst
uh,
because Nintendo exists.
and then the next 2 games you might have to remind me of, I have Tides of Tomorrow, which I think was that
Skip,
weird looking pirate game, and then Sea Remnants, which I
skip.
yeah. So that was
Yeah,
what closed out the show.
there was a solid section of this that was a felt like an honest commercial break. And I know that this whole thing is just trailers and effectively commercials, but yeah, there's a solid section of just like, why is this section here?
Yeah, so that was the end of that. I think Stay at Play, like, for the most part, I would give that, like, a 7.5 out of 10 if we were to put it on, like, a rating scale. It was good, not great. Uh,
Yeah.
Oh, shit, we forgot the biggest thing from it that makes it a 10. That somehow it
Yeah,
didn't get onto my list because I think I freaked out too much when it happened. They showed a Ghost Yote teaser, rewinded it, and announced a 4v4 Marvel tag fighting game from Arc Systems Works, people who brought you BlazBlue, uh, the other anime fighting game, Dragon Ball's Fighter Z Fighters, like, really,
Guilty
like
Gear is what you
that's
were,
what I was yep,
trying to get
that
to.
yep, you got me. Got me there. I was trying to
Yep.
get Guilty Gear,
Yeah, it
but
looks sick. I like that it is a real evolution of, a Marvel tag fighter. It is not just, Marvel versus Capcom or, anything of the Capcom series redone or trying to emulate that style. This is them doing their fighters slash Guilty Gear type fighting. Well, actually, it's more fighters slash Blaze Blue type fighting with the Marvel characters, and it looks fucking
it
awesome.
looks so sick. I just want more of it. I think they also announced, Cosmic Invasion's getting She-Hulk and Rocket Raccoon.
Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
was also I think I'm missing something else from the state of play. I got distracted at some point
Yeah,
and
I
lost some
got
of
it
my
up.
notes. Anything I missed that
We
we
had
wanna talk about?
007.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
uh,
007.
007 First Light doesn't look bad. It took to them getting to actual gameplay for me to think like, okay, like I'm feeling this. And then when I saw the gameplay, I remembered, oh yeah, this is the Hitman folks. Like this is IO Interactive. This is the gameplay is going to be the absolute like pinnacle of action games right now. And with them grafting on an actual story in the game, I think they really may have pulled me in on this one, where in a way that Hitman never has,
I'll have to
unfortunately.
do they have an extended gameplay out from, like, after the show, or is it just that one trailer?
No, it's just that one trailer, but that's what I'm saying. Like you can tell they're putting love into it. You see a bunch of gadgets being used.
Yeah, 'cause I'll have to see because I'm not the James Bond guy. I've only seen a couple of the movies, so it doesn't really it doesn't have that, kinda like how Indy didn't really get me because I have no real relationship with that franchise.
Yeah,
This is kinda
which
the same.
I'm now basically at the last like act of the game, and a huge recommendation for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
You know
Absolutely love it.
you know, af
Fantastic game.
after we talked about it last week, I actually went back and played, Wolfenstein 2 for the first time since it launched.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man, just look, Machine Games, look, they can make a fucking
They get
cutscene.
it.
They get it.
They
They,
can make a fucking cutscene. Yeah. Oh, and they really do an Indiana Jones. Like, and okay, small digression into that because I haven't really had a chance to talk to somebody who's like a video game and film nerd. But the side characters in Indiana Jones all look like not like that they look like a specific actor from the 70s, but they look like they were actors in the 70s. And it's
they
just
don't
like
look like
such a
people from
good
the '70s, they look like actors from the
exactly.
'70s.
Who
That's a
actually like existed and lived, and like they are new cast members that Steven Spielberg and George Lucas casted in, let's say 1983. Like it's crazy. It's such a good game,
yeah,
and the puzzles are so much fun.
I might
It's not as much of an action game
I
as
might
I
download that
was
one.
kind of expecting, but it's so, 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 so good.
Yeah, after beating Wolfenstein 2, 'cause I went and beat it just, like, on accident, like, I had a
Oh,
day
yeah.
off, and I was like, "You know what? I'm just going to" I woke up at 6 because, even though it was my day off, I woke up at 6 still, and I was like, "Let me just download this." It's like 20 gigs somehow. It's crazy how far games
Yeah.
have gone. And I sat there, and I think I played it for, like, 14 straight hours and beat it.
Yeah.
Man,
Doesn't
That
surprise
Mick
me.
Gordon
They make a
soundtrack
sick game.
hits. Everybody talks about the
Yep.
Doom Mick Gordon soundtrack. Now the Wolfenstein one, that shit will get you
Because
fucking
the
hype.
Wolfenstein, he really kinda does a lot of different genre stuff in there too, and it just pumps.
Yeah, it's so good. But,
Yeah.
is there anything from the Sony stuff? I know you've got the, like, real list pulled up. Anything we missed that you wanna, like, hit on?
Mads Mikkelsen is in Hitman. That's
That's
pretty
that's
cool.
a Summer Game Fest. That's not was that the Sony
Oh,
thing.
was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I just got confused because of the IO game stuff.
let's talk into Summer Game
Yep.
Fest.
No,
So
nothing I wanna talk about.
All right, so yeah, we'll move on to Summer Game Fest itself. So the show starts off with Jeff glazing the shit out of indie games as he should. They're on a fucking
Literally.
they're on a generational run right now.
Yeah.
But it really sets a tone for what to expect from this show. So he then shows off.
Yes, because I think my game of the show was an indie game, which I will bring up when we get to it.
I think mine might have been too. So we'll see. So he
Oh,
showed off
surprising.
Mortal Shell 2.
Looks
Uh,
sick.
looks sick as shit. And I know that was like a budget
Yeah.
Souls like from like 4 or 5 years
Yep.
ago. This looks like they
Yeah.
got some fucking return on investment. They're like, we're gonna make a badass
Yeah.
game. That trailer
They
rocked.
it absolutely rocks. Like summer game or sorry, yeah, Summer Game Fest starts out with two sequels to Souls likes that I played and kind of enjoyed. Both these sequel trailers look like an amazing, like you said, a return on investment and like a development of their own style. Because after Mortal Shell 2, we get Code Vein 2, which
Yeah,
also looks pretty sick.
yeah, that comes a little later. Uh, I will talk about it now. Look, I'm not the Souls guy, but I was like, yeah, it looks like anime Souls, and I've seen Code Vein be played, and I was like, oof, is not for me. But for
Oh, it's Bandai Namco, so it actually plays a little more actiony fun than well, obviously Bandai Namco does FromSoft as well,
yeah,
but
I was like,
like they publish for them. But what I mean is like it's their main publishing house. So, they tend to focus on more fun arcadey action in Code Vein
things
than
have
you would in a Souls game.
more people can like kind of latch on to.
Exactly.
But if we're going in order of the Summer Games Fest, next was the yearly glazing of Hideo Kojima that Jeff does, and we showed
Oh yeah. I just skipped over
the
that. I
very
forgot.
pointless trailer of Death Stranding 2. It added nothing. It gave us no questions. It was just two really well animated actors being really good
Yeah.
actors. Cool.
Yeah, it
Next,
it absolutely wasn't a trailer. It was like a scene that you would take to a late night show to show off your new movie.
right, and we're so close. Just like show off a little gameplay. Like this is the
Yeah.
time. Like we're like 2 weeks away from it, 3 weeks away from it. Like show off just
Yeah.
like a gameplay montage because
Plus to feature this cool new character who's like obviously being framed as Solid Snake-esque and then give a really boring scene with him in it.
yeah,
It's a
like
good actor,
I bet that
but
scene hits when we get there. I bet like
sure.
once I got like the 40 hours of story to get to that scene and I see the mark
Yeah.
of like the Gemini or whatever that was. It was like an astrological sign, I think.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
couldn't tell.
yeah, I've like
I honestly was fast forwarding through this part.
yeah.
I watched all of these after work, so I had that beautiful ability to not have to sit through the bad stuff
It's
live.
that's a nice ability because there are some bathroom breaks in
Yeah.
here. Next, Tom
Oh
Hart.
yeah.
So next one's a confusing one. It said this trailer
Yeah.
was narrated by Tom Hardy. I don't know if the game itself is also narrated by Tom Hardy. Very
I'd
unclear.
rather not.
But it's a medieval strategy game, maybe, or just like a warfare
I think
simulator
so.
called Chronicles
Yep.
Medieval. The end of that trailer was dope, where like the general like walks up the hill and crests it to see the other army. I did like that, but we can move on from that. Sonic Racing trailer. I These are like the only Sonic games I've ever liked. Was the All Star Transformed? They showed off the
Yeah.
guest characters, Hatsune no Miku,
Okay.
Ichiban,
Like kind of crazy.
Who I will
Ichiban,
main,
absolutely nuts. Was not
Joke
expecting him at all.
Joker from Persona 5, and
Great
then
choice.
Steve from Minecraft.
I expected it and it disappointed.
It I didn't expect it, but I thought it was going to be a better get than that because there have been rumors of SpongeBob being in this game for
That would
some
be
reason.
sick.
Yeah,
Maybe that combined with the SpongeBob teaser we see later in the show. Somebody got their rumors mixed up.
maybe that's a good point. So next was Code Vein 2. We already talked about that. Oh,
Yep.
then there was a top-down horror game that I really dug called End of Abyss. I don't know if you caught that one.
Yeah. I caught it. It didn't have enough for me to get excited about other than the aesthetic looks cool.
Yeah, like good vibes. Well, bad vibes, but like in a good
Yeah.
way. Next is a game
Yeah.
I'm actually very excited for that I've been following for about a year or two now. Mouse PI for Hire.
Really,
W
this one has not captured me as much as I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm a big boomer shooter guy. I play a lot of these little first
Yeah,
person shooters, so give it a cool, wacky art style, make it fun, I'm down. There was another one that came out, I think, last year or 2 years ago, that the art style, like, the comic book Goon?
yeah, yeah,
It very evocative of that art style and that
yeah,
feeling of mobsters, and this is, like, the same thing, but for, like, late 30s, like, animation. And
yeah,
Troy
very,
Baker is the voice.
Walt Disney coded, fun animation.
And, yeah, Troy Baker is voicing the main character, so good for Troy Baker, I guess.
Yep,
N
always
next,
getting good work.
the Game of Thrones War for Westeros, RTS, if that's your
The
thing.
actual Game of Thrones game that people have wanted for a very long time, but
Yeah,
has never been delivered on?
crazy that hasn't happened. Like, I would've
I
just,
know,
I just
I
assumed that was a thing, you
yeah,
know?
there's not been one. Like, I'm sure all of the games produced so far have been, wildly successful, but they've all been, mid-tier or budget games or phone games. So, yeah, just weird.
So, after that, we have what I like to call the Mundfish Special, that's the developer of the next 2 games. First is
Yeah,
Atomic Heart 2, which I don't remember if
I
you
felt
remember.
nothing.
It looked unreal, like, not in, like, a video game that's an Unreal
Yeah,
Engine, it didn't feel real. Like, that's how the first
yeah,
Atomic Heart also felt when it got announced, where everybody's like, "Oh my
yep,
god, this game looks crazy," and this game looks even wackier and crazy. I
yep,
didn't play the first Atomic Heart, it didn't really, like, even though everything about it screams something I should play and would probably like, I just never felt the need to go play it. But this
yeah.
looks crazy. I like more what they showed after, which is the
Really, because
cube.
that's even more, like, uncanny unrealness.
Just the idea.
The
Hold on, hear me out, because I like the idea of it, because I like these types of
Yeah, okay,
games.
the idea of the cube is fun.
The
We can
cube,
go
and
over that.
it's part of the Atomic universe, and they described it as a MMORPG first-person shooter set in the Atomic Heart universe, which just sounds like they're making their own Destiny or their own Division,
Yeah,
which I really like
yeah.
those types of games. I can't go back to Destiny because that's an addiction, and I just can't do that. I love
Yeah, I was
Destiny.
gonna say, I let you know that, Destiny 2 now has all of its, except for the most recent expansion available on PlayStation. You gotta do it, Josh.
But then it's about grinding my weeklies to get my powerfuls, to get my light level up, so I can never do the raid because I've never done a raid in Destiny. Look, I've put over 300 hours just in Destiny 2, just on PC, not including my PS4 on when it launched. I've never done a raid, which
That's
I
wild.
yeah. Next, I showed off Marvel's Cosmic Invasion with the 2 new characters.
Yep.
Game still looks fucking sick.
Looks so good. She-Hulk looks so awesome with her,
I
like, leg lariats and wrestling
Yeah,
style.
she's like fucking she wrestles like, Randy Savage. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
Then
She, very influenced by the Aaron era of Avengers, I think.
where
Good
she's
choice on her
big,
design there.
yeah, I love me a
Yeah,
big She-Hulk. Granted,
it's fun.
I also like Lawyer She-Hulk. I love when that's a big
I like
thing
her
too.
to be able to, do the sizes. That's what makes her different from Bruce,
Yes,
for
100%.
me.
Next, let me go ahead and just fucking
Woo!
Onimusha, Way of the Sword
Looks so good.
looks unreal. My favorite part is when they showed off him fighting a boss, and it was the first boss you fight in the first Onimusha game, and it had the
Yeah,
same type of, like, rough, like, I don't wanna say, like, Brooklyn accent, but, like, demonic form.
yeah.
And I was like, "Let's go."
It's so good. Such a
Can't
fun choice.
I absolutely cannot wait for that game. Oh, 2020,
Yeah,
look,
it looks absolutely fantastic. Like this, not the single fights, but like the large fights with the crowd looks just like fighting in Onimusha 2 and 3, where they all kind of it's everybody waits and takes their turn, and then you do your parry, dodge, whatever. But then the next one steps in immediately after. But then like the boss fight looks sick and cinematic, and yeah, it looks like
I'm so
again, this is our Resident Evil 4 of Onimusha. I'm gonna keep saying that. Capcom's, hitting a good streak right now, I
look,
think.
if all these games that Capcom showed off, which we'll talk about more later, They all are
Yes.
slated to come out in 2026. If they do,
Gonna be
they are
huge.
running 2026, and I am
They are
eating.
running 2027 through 2030 is what they're gonna end up doing.
Alright, next, a game that kind of stole a show for me. It didn't, like, actually steal a show, but just, like, the aesthetic of it. The
No.
Puppet Punch-Out game. This
I
is
hated it. I hated
I
everything about
loved
this game.
every second of it. It's all in
Ah,
Unreal. That's not real puppets. That's crazy. But it looks
yeah.
like it's just gonna be Punch-Out with a weird, wacky story. And,
Yeah,
if it's
and,
like
like,
20 bucks, I will 100% buy it.
if you haven't seen, this game's called Felt That Boxing. So it and it is also Felt That colon boxing. So it kind of feels like we're setting up for maybe some sort of weird Felt That franchise, which I will hate because these Muppets effectively are so well animated
It's
that they
uncanny.
look real, and it is just weird, and my brain breaks on thinking of the game like actually working with real Muppets, even though I know it's not real.
It looks so real.
But
It
yeah,
it looks crazy.
it's weird.
I definitely wanna play it
I
just for
didn't
the
like it.
silliness of it. Next, we have a Square Enix game, Killer In, murder mystery action game.
Yeah,
That looks like it'd
weird.
be fun if you had 20 friends to play with. I wouldn't wanna do that with strangers. Those types of games
Yeah,
aren't fun with
or maybe
strangers.
just like a Discord group of like, good gaming folks,
Yeah.
maybe some randos in there, but like everybody knows each other.
Yeah, because that feels like a game the vibes could get ruined pretty quickly. Uh,
Yep.
Arc Raiders is coming out, August 30th. That's a
Yep.
extraction shooter. People were
And
digging
they
the beta.
also this was more of a like kind of a cinematic story trailer for a game that I didn't think was gonna be really cinematic or story-y. But I mean Bungie always does that too.
Also, this game
So
was supposed to be a Division-like before they pivoted. So they probably had a lot of
so
that
maybe there were
already
gonna be more
prepped.
missions and stuff.
Yeah, so
Or maybe there will be. Maybe
who
they will have kind of division-y hub stuff.
maybe they'll nail it down to be like what I want out of these games, which is I
Yeah.
want it to just be The Last of Us. Like, The Last of Us extraction shooter just sounds perfect in my head, and it got canceled. Then we
Yeah,
saw
I could see that.
Dune Awakening trailer. You're a big Dune guy. How does that game make you feel?
I don't care at all about it. I never have wanted to be role play or, like, be a part of the Dune universe. Yeah, it's weird. It looks kinda cool, but it is absolutely not my type of game at all.
Yeah,
So
I kinda wanna do it just to drive the ornithopter. Oh, hello, cat.
Oh, really? Not even the sandworm. The sandworm isn't what's gonna pull you in.
Man, the ornithopter, especially, like, with the variation. Okay, cat. Yeah, get down, baby.
Yeah, I see you're being assaulted.
Yep. Like, the ornithopter, like, especially after, like, the Dune movie came out, and it's, like, that version
Yeah.
of it. That, like, I'm not a mech guy, even though one of my favorite franchises is mech based. I don't really give a fuck about mechs, but there's something about, like, the mechanicalness of it. It just, like, scratches my brain
Yeah.
in a good way.
It looks really cool.
It does look really cool.
An insectoid.
Yep. And then next we had a game called Chrono Odyssey, which is an MMO action game. It's got a play test at the end of
Hey,
June.
I'm gonna be real. We are hitting a really hard skip section here for me. Like we're obviously gonna go over everything, but I got real bored for the next like I will say maybe half dozen to 10 games.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna do them quick and dirty real quick. So there's that MMO. We have Mio, Memories in Orbit, Metroidvania. And it's got a demo out, which I want to try. I do like Metroidvanias. Uh,
Same.
Out of Words. I think this looks really cute. It's a co-op game.
Yeah, it looks weird.
Yeah, it kind of has that uh unraveled feel where it looks a little too like it looks like it's claymation almost, but
Yeah.
it looks too real and a little bit uncomfortable, kind of like you with the puppets, where it looks a little too
Yes.
real. It's kind of got that vibe
But
to it.
not like the Midnight Walk, which actually did use claymation and then made it look really good, which is
Yeah,
cool.
but I think this game looks cool. It's got time to work on it, uh, but it looks like one of those forced co-op games. Mafia
Yep.
Old Country. I'm excited about this because finally Hangar 13's like, look, we can't make an open world game, but we can make really good stories. So we're just gonna do that. Uh,
Yeah. We'll see. Mafia 3 kind of had me going in and out. And also they like the gameplay in that game just trashed the whole experience for
yeah,
me.
the playing the game is not the fun part of Mafia 3. It's a great movie though. Then we had the
Yeah.
Lego Builders 2. Uh, it's a really very pretty, like, it's the ray tracing Lego game that you've seen on
Yeah.
Twitter most likely. A lot of people cried during the first one. I never played those.
Huh.
Then,
Okay.
the voice actress for Sandy Cheeks came out, from SpongeBob and announced Nickelodeon Dice of Destiny, which
Yep.
looks like
Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny.
yeah,
Ooh.
and it looks like a Diablo-like kind of.
Yeah, that's what I was reading.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. Then Liza P DLC Stealth dropped. That
Woo!
that do anything?
Stealth drop today. One of two stealth drops today?
I think so, yeah, besides, like, demos.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Looks
So
sick.
yeah,
Liza P, very good. Not as much of a Souls-like as it looks like. Very good.
yeah,
Love it.
it's not on Game Pass anymore, so I didn't play it, but it's $30.
Oh,
It
that's
is
too bad.
$30 on PlayStation, so I might pick it up. But it depends.
Absolutely
I
worth
think I
$30.
got I got some busy times coming up for games. Next is a
Yeah,
game
that's
that looked
fair.
really fucking cool to me. They described it as Doki Doki Literature Club meets Silent Hill. It's called Fractured Blooms.
Yeah, did
It
nothing for me.
it's like very weird esoteric horror, but it's also first person. It looks very strange. Recommend checking that out. Then we have the anime game section, which was just all your Hoyover shit and a random Seven Deadly Sins game. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
move right past that. Uh, Jurassic World Evolution 3, man, they are pumping these things out, it feels like.
Yeah, it still disappoints me that they're not just called Jurassic Park anymore. I don't know. Every time I see Jurassic World instead of Jurassic Park on the other stuff outside of the movies, I get a little bummed.
Corporate synergy.
No, thank you. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It seems like these games are pretty fun. The people that
I
like these games seem to
yeah.
like these games.
I played the first 2. I did put a lot of hours into the original, like, old, like, one,
Yes,
Jurassic Park
same.
Genesis, and it just doesn't scratch it for me. It's too clean.
Yep,
I'm not the
yep,
biggest fan.
exactly.
Now the one of the games I think what stole the show for me for the indie game, Mina the
Hey, is
Hollower.
also my
Really?
show stealer. Yep.
Good. Oh, fucking 2 minds thinking
Yeah, I've
alike.
been waiting for a big trailer for this game for a very long time.
So
I've been waiting for their next game, and then ever since they announced it was this.
yeah, so I knew they were making Mia. So Mia the Hollower is made by Yacht Club Games that made Shovel Knight, which is one of the best
Woo!
2D side-scrolling platformers you could ever play in your life. And
Absolutely.
we all thought their next game was going to be effectively Shovel Knight 64. That was like the joke for the longest
Right.
time. But instead they're doing Mina the
Which
Hollower.
that joke actually gets delivered on by a different developer in
Celeste.
our next. Yeah. Or no, the other one, Super Meat Boy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was super
Yeah,
that had me super hyped
that
too.
was crazy. Okay,
But Mia
but
the
yes,
Hollower
back to Mina the Hollower.
looks like, the Game Boy Color Legend of Zelda games, which are
Yep,
Josh's favorite Legend of Zelda games. I didn't vibe with
same.
any of the 3D ones growing up. I didn't have it in 64 or anything like that, or a GameCube, so I didn't really play those. And going, like, back to them on the 3DS, I didn't really vibe with them. But, like, the Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages, Link's Awakening era of Zelda is my shit, and this looks like
Yeah,
the perfected version of that. Looks
yeah,
so
absolutely.
good.
Actually, very quick digression on this. I have to recommend. I'm a huge, huge fan of that specific era of Zelda games. So I have to recommend a developer called Color Grave. Uh, Josh, I'll send you a link, and maybe I'll probably put it in the show notes for this week as well. But all of Color Grave's games are exactly supposed to evoke the GBA era of Zelda games, and they are all built around very unique and weird mechanics and puzzles. And so I have a huge recommendation for those. And Mina the Hollower looks like an even better version of those lovely indie games.
I'll have to check that out. But October 31st for
Yeah.
Mina. Also, you're gonna notice that August and October like the end of those months are
Packed.
fucking stacked. Like it's
We're gonna
a
have to do 2 episodes a week if we wanna cover everything, and
yeah,
also get second jobs.
yeah. But also there's a demo out for me of the Hollower, which I forgot about, and it's in my notes, so I need to go download that. Next,
Absolutely.
Deadpool VR game for Oculus Quest. I'll probably boot up my VR game, my Oculus for that. Neil Patrick Harris as Deadpool. Don't know how I feel about that. It sounds like
I
he's
think
trying
it's
to.
a good choice. I mean, he is just doing the Ryan Reynolds,
It's
um,
yeah, he kind of is. But he's always
but
he's not
it's
he's Nightwing for me. Like he's the voice of Nightwing
that's fair.
also, so that's
Yeah.
why I attribute him to. So that looked like a VR game. Looks like a cool VR game, I guess. A lot of
Yeah,
VR games
a
tend
lot
to
of
look the
fun.
same to me, at least, as someone who plays
It's
them.
very
Also,
Deadpool-y.
very Deadpool-y, which can go either way. Next was
Yep, when
Dying
I'm in the
Light.
mood for it, I'm very in the mood for it,
Oh
but
yeah.
I'm not hardly ever.
So speaking of August, Dying Light: The Beast is releasing August 22nd.
Yeah,
Dying
pretty
Light
cool.
is just one of those consistent ass series. I know there's only been
Yeah,
2 games, but the first DLC of the first one was basically a second game, like a mini game.
yeah, a game and a half.
Those games, like they're like the most rock hard like 8 out of 10s that's ever existed, and they live in that realm and they like perfect it. So I will definitely play more. Looks dope. Drive a
Yeah, I
car.
think, Dead Island 2 is also hitting that Dead Island is hitting that, like, area of just, like, consistently giving out exactly what we are telling you you are going to get in this zombie game.
Yeah,
So it's
just
cool that we have, different series doing
yeah,
that.
no frills to them. It's great. Next was
Yeah.
Mixtape. They showed off more of that game. Uh,
Yeah.
I want to play it because it looks like a good one of those narrative your life is stranges things like that, and it looks like a good vibe. Like maybe I play
I
that.
don't get as much out of these narrative games as I do as just like an actual, cinematic narrative or anything. And obviously they tend not to deliver on gameplay. So I used to really like them, but I've kind of fallen away.
Well, actually now I think about it, I haven't played one in a long time, but I loved Walking Dead season one, loved
Yeah.
Until Dawn, but then I haven't played The Quarry or any of those dark a dark tapes. They're the other things that
Dark Pictures.
Dark Pictures anthology. Thank you. Never did any of
I played all
those.
4 of those.
I think there's like 5 now, 5 or 6. There's a lot
Nope,
of
I've
those.
played all of them.
Okay. I've
Yep.
never gone back to them, but this game looks like it's hitting that nostalgia for an era I didn't live in, and I'm just glad to see
Yeah,
something that's not '80s nostalgia for once. Now it's
that is
'90s
nice.
nostalgia. So I was like, I kind of want to do it. Looks like it'd be fun. Next is another dope game that was almost my show stealer, Acts of Blood. It's an
Looks pretty sick.
Indonesian seafood like made by one person. Looks awesome.
It is very clearly evoking the raid
Yes.
in everything about it. Like I'm sure that the developer gets that a lot, but yeah, it is definitely
Yeah.
influenced by that
That's
also Indonesian film.
That's one to keep your eyes on. Next, another game from the people that made the TMT Shredder's Revenge and Cosmic Invasion. They are also
Yep.
putting out Scott Pilgrim EX. For those of you that
Yes.
don't know, Scott Pilgrim was a comic book series written by Brian Lee O'Malley that made into a movie that a lot of teenage boys misunderstood, and then they made a cool show about it. But in between that time, there was a side-scrolling beat 'em up on Xbox Live Arcade and PS3 that was just awesome. It's
So
a
good.
And they're just doing it again, and the story is again written by Brian Lee O'Malley. So that's really cool.
Yep. And Anna Monoguchi is doing at least some of the music, which they did for the original Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game. Is that what it was called?
Yeah. Scott Pilgrim versus the
Okay.
World, the
Yeah.
game.
The game, which
Right.
I love.
Next are some games that we're probably gonna go a little quick right now. A
Yeah.
trailer for Mind's Eye, which is a game I still don't really know what the fuck it is, and as of this recording, it comes out in 2 days. So when this podcast
Yeah,
comes out,
they
you can play this game.
to me, it just screams a game that has a lot of work done by AI. I don't know why, but something about this game says to me it's gonna come out, drop, and there's gonna be a huge developer scandal where it's all like used for, farming crypto or something. I don't know why I feel this, but I do in my bones.
So it was actually made inside of another game called Elsewhere, I think, or Everywhere or something like that, which,
Weird.
that game hasn't come out yet that it's made in.
That's even weirder.
Yeah, it's, I think Elsewhere or Everywhere, I can't remember that game is called, but they did this in, like, the Xbox One era. It's like your little Big Planets type, there's
Yeah.
also, like, that other 3D one where they did Super Lucky Tail for the first time.
Hmm.
Where you can make your own games and levels and stuff, like Dreams, think like
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah, but obviously on a much higher production value.
yeah, so that I don't know how I feel about that game. Next was Mads Mikkelsen coming out for the Casino Royale mission in Hitman.
Yeah,
Cool, they
cool.
got Mads Mikkelsen come out, they spent too much time on this segment, this could've been a quick trailer.
Yep. They
Uh,
always do. That's my problem with these Jeff Fests,
yeah.
key threes.
Next was Lego Party, it's literally just Mario Party with Legos, nothing special about
Neat.
it, yeah. Wildgate's getting an open beta next week, and it comes out July 24th. So we'll probably
As a
jump in.
player of the previous closed beta, highly recommended.
Yep.
Wait, no, I don't even think it's that late. I think it might start tomorrow.
This is my notes from Friday, so it could start tomorrow because that would be the next week from when this showcase happened.
I will check that out as we keep going through stuff. Wildgate. Have we talked about Wildgate?
Yeah, we did a whole episode on it.
Okay. Oh yeah, it was my portion of one episode.
Yeah.
Um, Very sick, very fun game. I Moonshot is a bunch of former Blizzard folks trying to grab the Blizzard charm, and we will see if they succeed.
Next is a game I'm so excited for because it's a developer I love that I think has put out only amazing games. It's Blighted by Drinkbox Software. And
Yeah,
it
Drinkbox very
looks
sick.
sick. And I'm a big fan of their game Severed, which came out on the Vita, and I
Yes.
think you can play on phones now. Highly recommend
Ooh.
that. Yeah, which it would play great on phones because it's all touch based,
Yep.
which is a dungeon crawler, and this looks like they're Hades almost. Like I hate comparing things to Hades, but like
Yes.
that sort of like
But
isometric roguelike
that's exactly what
styling.
it is.
Yeah, it's their Hades, but with that like Mexican Gothic uh stylings that Severed had. Like all their games are
Yeah.
very Hispanic inspired, except Nobody Saves the World, which is also a great game. That's a great Steam
Very
Deck
fun game.
game.
Very unique game.
So can't wait for that. I will play anything Drinkbox puts out. Next,
Agreed.
ooh, there's another horror game, and it looks nasty. It looks gross. It's called Ill. ILL.
Yeah, it looks a
Ew,
little too gross
it
to be
looks
honest.
disgusting. Believe it or not, all practical effects.
That's pretty cool.
No, that's not practical effects, the video game. But it looks like a
Well,
f
again, as the aforementioned, what is it, Midnight Walk or whatever did,
oh, yeah.
that's all practical.
But this game, it's a first person shooter horror game, and it looks like
Yeah.
it might be like I don't get scared by things like video games that much, but that one, ooh, I was like a little oof on
Yeah,
that
I don't
one.
know. It looks kind of like a gross outy jump scary thing for me personally.
That's
It doesn't look bad. It certainly doesn't look bad at all, but I just don't want it to be the same as what are those games that came out like over the last couple of years? Scion, is that one of them?
oh, the one where it looks like a Giger, like an HR Giger painting, and
Yeah,
it's like
exactly,
gross,
but like
scorn.
derivative
It's
and
like
not as quite as good.
yeah, it's just a lot of buttholes and fleshy things.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, next is Mecha Break for all you mech heads out there. People really loved that game when it did like its open beta last
Yeah,
year, I
I
think.
had fun with it.
No interest for me at all. This next one does. I described it in my notes as Ants meets Small Soldiers meets Dune, and it's called
Yeah,
Infinitesimals.
I
It
b
look
I went with infinite because it's so it's not infinitesimal, right? It's infinitesimal, so it's infinitesimals. It is.
Infinitesimals.
It is possibly man, there are a lot of really bad names coming up
That's a
as we
real
keep
bad
going on.
name.
Yeah, they will ramp up though. I'm more of a less of a fan of like the rise of the fall of the conqueror's tale. Like that's the type of name that I really hate. But yeah, infinitesimals. I think your description is pretty good. Ants meets small soldiers meets Dune. You said,
Yeah, because it looks like the
yeah,
Gorgonites, but it's also it looks like about class warfare, and then they have like
yep,
Dune stuff. Looks
yeah.
that's I don't like how else to describe it. It looks cool.
It's a very accurate description. Looks pretty sick.
And
It's
also
weird.
I guess
It's
meets
very weird.
Grounded because they're all small. Next we had the RE trailer fake out, which actually made me upset because they
It's
said,
so weird that they kept doing this. They
yeah,
did it twice.
yeah. Well, first was announced to Capcom, so like, oh, yeah, you gotta pay. Yeah, you gotta pay for the show, Jeff. I get it, commercials. But they came back out
Yeah.
and they had the developers speak like, we know you're all excited for the next Resident Evil game. It'll be here in a blink. And I thought they were gonna just show the trailer next, like, haha, good joke.
Yeah, of course you did.
But then it just kept going. I was like, "That's fucked." Because I actually
Yeah.
popped real hard when it popped up because they had, like, this
Oh,
trailer of all the other games, but the
yeah,
first thing they
exactly.
showed
Yeah.
was the word "Outbreak," and I literally fell off my couch thinking we're getting an Outbreak remake or remaster.
Yeah. Well, that would be so sick.
Yeah, and then I was kind of in a pissy mood after that, but we got better almost immediately because the wrestler Kenny Omega came out on a commercial
So wild.
for Street Fighter
AEW
6.
Best Bout Machine,
Yeah,
Kenny Omega.
and he showed
Crazy.
off all the new characters for, season 3 of Street Fighter 6, and he cosplayed as them, which was
Yeah.
great.
Which is pretty cool when he looks like Sagat and Alex,
Oh, man,
and
God looks
his Sea
awesome.
Viper's pretty good.
A
His Ingrid was concerning.
little bit,
His Ingrid, yeah, a little odd.
but
I don't think I've ever realized that she had red eyes until I saw Kenny's context, so thank you for that.
actually, no, you're right, I didn't notice that either. But, man, Sagat
Yeah.
looks cool in game, though. He looks
Scott looks so cool in game when he's got, like, kind of like a burly beast man look, like, he's been
yes.
out in the wilderness.
He's gonna go
He's a good guy now, I think, if I remember my Street Fighter lore.
who knows? Who cares? Who cares?
I li I like Sagat. Some
Uh,
Muay Thai, I've been waiting for
yeah,
him.
oh, yeah, he's gonna be dope. I'll probably get back into Street Fighter 6 for him.
Same.
Next is, we've got Team Fortress 2 at home, which with Last
Yeah, but
Flag. It looks cool though.
not too bad,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I thought it was a Team Fortress game because it is very
Oh, yeah, I
inspired
mean,
by
it's
Team Fortress.
very into we have a cartoony style and such unique, funny characters, and then obviously the gameplay is kinda capture the flag meets Team Fortress. I mean,
Yeah,
that's just it.
I like
It's
the
capture the flag of grabbing it and then hiding it somewhere so
yeah,
that, like, one person is holding it the whole time. Were you getting that as well?
yeah, so it is that where we hide our flags and we can move them around and
Okay.
we're trying to take them from each other, which I think is a cool concept. Do we need a whole
Yeah.
game dedicated to it? We'll see.
Yeah.
Uh, Next we got Wuchang Fallen Feathers. It's one of those Chinese action games, very reminiscent of like
Yeah.
Black Myth Wukong. Sure.
Looks sick. We'll
Uh,
see.
Wu Tang Rise of Deceiver co-op
Who
action
expected this?
RPG. Well,
What?
we knew they were making something. Like
Yeah,
there's
but,
been
like, to be a cool ass action RPG like that,
yeah, baby, very excited. You're playing that with me.
also presented by Ghostface Killa is really cool, and I'm like, what does that mean in game? Is he announcing it? Is he a narrator?
No, you're helping
How could
Ghost.
this be?
So the premise is you're helping Ghostface Killer go save the rest of the Wu Tang Clan.
Ah!
Uh, my next note was Guild Wars 2 is still happening. That's crazy. Good for Guild
Yeah,
Wars
I
2.
actually downloaded it on my Steam Deck after this to see if it works and to see if I enjoy Guild Wars 2, so
I haven't played it since it came out. It was a cool
same.
MMO for its time. Next is
Yeah, I've heard very good things.
now back to like weird animation styles. We have Into the Unwell, which is a good name in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's a crazy animation with like I don't know how to describe that animation style, but very like
Yeah.
messy almost it feels. Very loosey goosey messy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's tough because it's kind of what do you call it? Um, Cupheady, but also very. Beavis and Butthead acid trip portion.
Yeah, and
It's kind of the melding of those 2.
it's a roguelike about alcoholism, about falling off the horse.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Yeah, we'll see.
Next, was a kind of a cringy part, Splitgate 2.
Yeah.
The guy came out in a make FPS great again
Make
hat.
FPS great again, and that instantly, like, colored me against him. And I was
It
like, "Oh,
did,
boy."
and then he was like he said a bunch of shit, and he was like, "I wish we had Titanfall 3," and I'm like, why are you doing this? Like,
Yeah,
did no
what
one
is
tell
the
you how
point of
to
this?
talk to people? But he announced that, Splitgate 2 is out now, and it has a battle royale mode. So I downloaded Splitgate 2, and I have played about 2.5 hours of it. It's a fun game. The battle royale
Yeah,
mode,
it's
I
very fun.
think, not that great. It was whatever.
It really captures, the Halo plus Portal, like, that it always has been.
I mean, the time to kill is so fast.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah.
fast. But yeah, it's an enjoyable first person shooter. Next, we have Stranger Than Heaven, which was known
Oh,
as
previously known.
Project Century, which from RGG Studios, the people that make
Yep.
Yakuza games, or Like a Dragon as they're
Ryo
called
ga
now,
ga taku
which
go ga ga toku.
yeah,
God damn.
yeah, which I think just translates
This is
to
why we
Like a
stick with
Dragon.
RGG.
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh, they this was recently shown at the Game Awards. It was a really cool trailer. It looks like a 1943's like actual Yakuza game. Like think
Well,
Judgment, the older Yakuza games.
yes, but you gotta remember the previous name was Project Century, and what they showed at the Game Awards was stuff in 1926, and now they're showing us a thing from 1943, and we have a character who is clearly, like, descendant, because they make a big thing out of this character being, like, obviously of mixed race,
Hmm.
because the Yakuza games are or the Like a Dragon series is always very into Japanese, like, ethnicity, um and so I think we're gonna see another trailer later that's gonna be like 1969 Japan. So
That would
I think that's what we're getting.
that would be cool. Look gorgeous.
Looks so good.
Looks so gorgeous. Very excited.
Yeah.
Love RGG. Fucking sounds great. And then the rug pull. We were mad all show
Yep.
because they did the rug pull of Resident Evil, but then they showed off Resident Evil 9 Requiem, featuring an Ashcroft, which are the people that made Umbrella.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, yes and no. She is related to the most boring Ashcroft, the one from what? Not Outbreak.
ooh,
Maybe it is Outbreak.
there is
I had to
one.
look this up.
I haven't looked anything up about it yet.
Okay, keep going on this so I can tell you who she's related to.
So it looks like we're returning back to the destroyed Raccoon City, and there have been a lot of rumors and hints that the next Resident Evil game was going to have open world mechanics to it, and that
Yeah.
might be the exploration of Raccoon City in its destroyed
Yeah,
form.
it's so cool because it is clearly a combination of going back to the roots of Raccoon City and seeing all of the weird, like, hyper supernatural elements that we've gotten from
With
the,
7
the
and 8.
new RE series.
So, all right, question vibe check. I don't know if they've announced it yet at the time of this recording. First person, third person. What do you think it is?
I think it's first person still.
You think they're
I actually, you
stick?
know what? I'm gonna switch that. I'm gonna say optional. I think you can switch.
Ooh, kinda like RE8. I went back and played
Exactly.
Resident Evil 8 in third person. I'm like,
Yeah.
how did they do this? Why is it still play just as good in third person?
I know, it's crazy. Because I think they design it third person. I think they design
And
around
then
the character.
just move the head in?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do. And oh, yeah, so to be clear, this Ashcroft is not related to the Ashcrofts.
No, not related to the okay.
Yeah, she is the daughter of Alyssa Ashcroft, the journalist from Resident Evil Outbreak 1 and 2. So it was Outbreak.
Oh, we're calling Outbreaks canon. I like that. Maybe we'll
Yeah, weird.
okay, if they do that, they
Well,
gotta
at
give me
least
an Outbreak
maybe a little bit.
remaster. They gotta give me an Outbreak remaster then, right? They're doing
I
it they
don't
gave me
need one.
Onimusha too. I'll play it. I don't need you to play, I'll play it. But that's what ended Summer Game Fest.
Yeah,
Like, I saw some
pretty
great
sick
games
ending.
there. I was kinda whelmed by, like, the entirety of the presentation. I don't know if it was just that it was
Yeah,
so long that I lost steam. I think, like, definitely around the midpoint, I started losing steam on it, and I started coming back
yeah.
in towards the end.
It is definitely bloated,
Y
and not well paced.
but there's some big things I'm super excited for on here. Then we had
Yeah, I
the
agree.
Xbox showcase that happened, about 4 hours ago at the time of this recording.
Yes.
So,
I'm very fresh off watching this one, and I will say of the 3 things discussed, this is the one that caught, the most excitement from
oh,
me.
this was the best one by far. By
Yeah,
far, this is the best
easily.
one. So it started with
Some real surprises and some just really good looking games.
a lot of good-looking games, and
Yeah.
one weird thing they did, which I'll bring up.
Yeah.
So first, Outer Worlds 2 looks good, October 29th.
Looks very good.
I haven't watched the deep dive yet. I did see one
Oh,
little
yeah.
clip with the, like, not the perks, but the nerfs, I guess,
The
the
flaws.
flaws. One of them was
Yeah.
it sees that you like being crouched a lot, so when you uncrouch, your knees pop and everybody hears
Yeah.
it. And there's another one, if you
So
like to
it
steal things, you get the kleptomaniac perk where you can sell stolen items for higher money. But sometimes when
every
you're
item, actually. It's
every
a
item,
really good perk.
but
Yeah.
sometimes you'll randomly just steal things if you look at them.
Yep, and, about the bad knees perk, it is that you are, always faster when you are moving crouched. So again, it's a really good, like, perk. It's just that literally when you stand up, and they show you standing in a crowded room and your knees pop and crack so loud that everyone turns around to look at you, and it is so funny. The game looks great. I did watch a good portion of the deep dive. I fast forwarded through it. Actually seems pretty funny, and, the game, like, mechanics itself, looks like they did a good amount of refinement and bringing in a lot of really fun Fallout New Vegas stuff. So
What
I'm super excited for the Outer Worlds too.
what's crazy, it's the second of their 3 games they're releasing this year,
Yeah.
which is
They are
insane.
getting a
Well,
lot of
actually,
Microsoft money.
it'll be the 3rd game they release this year.
Yeah.
Next was High on Life 2. It's High on Life with skateboards, it looks like. Didn't play the
I
first
did
one.
not like High on Life at all. It was free on PlayStation Plus at some point. It is just way too much. It was Oddworld Stranger's Wrath, but the guns talk way too much. And also they're just rude. They're rude to me, and I didn't like how rude they were. Uh, but wow, High on Life 2 looks kind of sick, honestly.
I mean, that looked all
Um,
pre-rendered side of I mean,
it said use of in-game features as well. So I mean, like even because there obviously some of it was in-game. Maybe it was just the commercial from the beginning.
it could be. I'm a little worn out on the Rick and Morty humor. I don't think I've watched any Rick and Morty since the 3rd season. I think they're on, like, 27 now or something like that.
I'm about the same way.
So, when High on Life came out, I was already over Rick and Morty humor,
Yep,
and so I
same.
I didn't even touch it. So
No,
that's
I just got it recently, actually. This was last couple of months that I played it, I think. It might still be on PlayStation, actually.
probably is, 'cause I know it was a Game Pass game. Next
Oh,
was a
yeah, that's
kind
true
of
too.
a one that threw me for a loop. Residents: A Plague Tale. Like,
Yeah,
somehow it
was
was
not expecting a sequel to that, but, one of my favorite semi-independent studios, um, Focus Entertainment, not a studio, but like a publisher, and they do, develop some as well. They develop, Space Marine as well, and they do these Plague Tale games, and it's a Plague Tale Legacy, notably.
yeah, no
So
rats to be seen,
yeah, so it's
which
kind of like they seem to be wanting to franchise out a little bit more.
yeah, I know people
Cool.
really like those games. I haven't got around to playing either of them.
Oh,
They're
they're
apparently
great.
really
Yeah.
good, yeah.
Yep.
I
Really good stealth games with like truly stellar stories.
okay, then it is right up my alley, and I just haven't played it yet.
Exactly. Yeah.
Alright, next, the Xbox, correction, ROG Xbox Ally, which is their Steam Deck.
Yeah.
It actually looks really cool. Basically a
It
portable
looks so
Xbox.
good.
Looks like it runs Windows and the
Yeah.
Microsoft Game Store, as well as it
It's
says
everything I
Steam.
want.
Yeah, so, Steam Deck needs to come out and, start fighting now. But during
Nope,
this
there's nothing they can do at this point unless the Steam Deck comes out at a, like, lower price with the same specs and the ability to do Windows stuff.
yeah.
Because
It can't do
right now
Windows?
I can do Nope. I mean, it
Oh.
can, but you gotta, work into it a little. It's not too hard, but it's just not optimized well, and it's not like a basic feature of it.
So
So, yeah, no, the ROG Ally, the Xbox Ally, I am totally down for.
yeah, I might actually get that because I want something I can play in my bed, and it looks
Yep.
like it's not gonna
I
be the
I
Switch
highly
2.
recommend. I love my Steam Deck, but like I said, I would like to play like Avowed or, I don't
Because
know,
because I have
whatever
Game
Xbox
Pass, and
Game
it could
Pass.
be I think with Game Pass, it'd be great.
Exactly. That's $15 a month, and that's all you have to pay for games, basically.
Yeah. Great deal, man. Look, it sounds like I'm such a Xbox head, like, once we started this podcast, because 'cause I've been, like,
We're
really
Game Pass
I'm a
freaks.
Game Pass freak, okay?
Yeah.
Let me put this note out here about this whole Xbox showcase. Every game they showed other competitor
Yeah.
logos, like,
Dope. Love it.
so they're really doing the play anywhere thing, which is really cool.
Yep.
But during this,
Very cool.
the Xbox Ally announcement, they're like, "You can play Silk Song on it when it releases later this year." When Silk
Yeah.
Song releases or when the Ally releases, or is it both?
I think it's both.
I'll believe it
And
when I
also, yeah,
see it.
what they were featuring Silk Song really prevalently, and there was one other game that they were showing off a lot during the Ally. I can't
I
remember.
can't
But I thought it
recall.
was really cool because it was like an indie game, and I was like, nice. I'm glad that they're showing these off instead of, Call of Duty Black Ops 7.
Oh, yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Mhm.
Next, they showed off White Medieval Blade, with a game called The Blood of the Dawnwalker, which is a dark fantasy game from
Yeah.
the ex-Witcher devs.
Yeah,
It's about a
I
world
remember
ran
when
by
the
vampires.
cinematic trailer dropped for this one, and I was pretty pumped for it.
This game looks
Uh,
sick.
looks pretty sick. We shall see.
Yeah.
Rebel Wolves, new studio.
Something I was very excited for, Super Meat Boy 3D. It looks like, the
Wow.
Mario 3D World games.
Yeah, so cool. The
Uh,
Super Meat Boy made the jump.
yeah, about time. It's only been
1,000
13.
years.
I was in high
When did
school
the
when that
Atari
game
come
came
out?
I was in high school when that game came out. Like, people were putting that on Vine and shit.
Yeah.
Like, Indie Game the
It
movie was based off this game.
yeah, exactly. This is like 2004?
No, 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 not that old.
6, no, 2006.
Like, 2008, 2009. It was like this
You think?
it was, like, about when Fez and all that came out. Fez,
Yeah.
Braid, this came out.
Yeah, 2008. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Man, looks sick.
Looks sick,
I'm
looks
ready to
and it
break my
looks actually
controller.
sick. Again, another gross looking game, but,
Yeah.
cute gross, so
Ninja Gaiden 4 got showed off. Man, Platinum
looks so good.
looks like they're about to eat that shit up. I've never played a Ninja Gaiden game, really. I've played a
You
little of
wouldn't
Black.
really like them.
I wouldn't.
No, I don't think so. Because you can't adjust anything, and they're pretty punishing,
I
like, in
so
a Soulsy way.
I mean, I usually play
Yeah.
these games on, like, medium hard difficulty. I mean,
Yeah.
2 they did the remake of 2 recently, and I've been thinking about, going and touching it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's free for you, right?
Yeah,
On
Game
what
Pass.
service is that? Oh, yeah, yeah, Game Pass. Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor us. And then after that, just for you, I was gonna text you about this, but I didn't know how far you were in Indie and see if you still liked it, but it sounds like you do. They showed off the,
Yes.
DLC where it looks like you're going to Rome to get a secret MacGuffin to bring back to the MacGuffin place. The Order of
Spoiler,
the
not a spoiler
Giants.
for Indiana Jones, it starts in Rome, so
How
you're going back.
Oh, the game starts in Rome, like the original game?
Yeah, yeah.
Next, I think one of the bigger surprises of this entire weekend, uh, Beast of Reincarnation.
Yeah, what
Gorgeous
the hell?
samurai game, right? Made by fucking Game Freak. The
Okay, so Game
Pokemon
Freak
people.
has made other
Yeah,
games, and they
like,
have made
not they haven't
other
made other good games. They made, like, The
but
Town.
that's what I'm saying, they have tried to make other games, and they have always failed.
Yeah, but this looks
Like,
like they never gone,
I
like,
I
for graphics or anything, you know?
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I've felt this before. I'm trying to find the game that I'm trying to figure it out, is it Little Town Hero?
Yeah, it's like The Town or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was so excited and it looked kinda cool and nice, and then it just came out and it was like, "Nope, it's trash."
Yeah, I saw that and clocked it. I was like, "This doesn't look that good." Everybody's really excited for it. I'm like, "You guys, this doesn't look that good," and it wasn't that good. But this looks really
Yeah,
pretty. I don't know if it's just because it's really pretty looking, and I like samurai
I don't know.
games.
Yeah.
We'll see when we get there. Next, a game that looks different than I expected it to. Clockwork Revolution. I was not expecting it to be steampunk Outer
Yeah,
Worlds. It looks fun.
so well, I thought it looked incredibly boring, and I absolutely hated the humor until they got to the actual gameplay gunplay section of
Which
it.
looked
The
sick.
trailer is so long and the jokes, every single one missed for me.
It felt like that, like, PS3 into PS4 era of "we're funny games" type humor.
Well, it is Borderlands 2 meets Fable is what it felt like to me.
Yeah, I could see that. You know,
Yeah, and I mean
humor is
that as an
hard.
insult, not as a compliment like it could be.
Yeah, humor is hard in video games, but
Yeah,
if it's as fun as it looks, I'll be okay.
yeah,
I can ignore a lot of humor. Uh,
yep.
like, it's got a bunch
This
of
is what
customization.
podcasts are for, folks. I'm sure you all know that.
Yeah. It looks like it's got a lot of fun customization, the gunplay looks sick. It even has, like, you remember the game Singularity? Where you could
Yes,
move
yeah.
objects back in time. It looks like they built a lot of the game around that mechanic. They're like, "That's a cool idea. We're taking that."
Yeah, a lot of different kind of, like, time travel-y gears and gadgets. Neat.
Uh, then, they kinda hinted at more film projects in the works, like more shows and stuff, so they didn't really show
Yeah.
anything, but they hinted at it. Then Obsidian's 2nd game for the year that comes out in July, Grounded 2.
Hell yeah. Grounded really rules, honestly.
Yeah,
Grounded is awesome.
I haven't played that one, but man, some like, either they've
Um,
unlocked the secrets of the space-time continuum and can pause time to work on games, or somebody needs to go check on the workers of Obsidian. You need to
I
check their
I
back for
think
whiff
they get
marks.
a lot of Microsoft funding because of their success in, like, in studio with Game Pass stuff and all of that. So I think they actually have quite a large studio for,
I think they're
their
only, like,
relative size.
250, like, 300 people, which is a decently sized studio, but, like,
Well, yeah, but
back
they're
to
also not
churn.
making like Grounded 2, while it's going to be very fun and very good,
No,
is going to be probably like a $40 game or
true.
something like that. Outer Worlds 2, on the other hand, and possibly Avowed 2, hopefully, also going to be very big. And then prior to that, we're mostly working on CRPGs. So a lot of work to be done, but can be done by a relatively small team.
Yeah,
So I
that
think we're finally seeing what they can do when we give them full resources and reasonable deadlines, unlike
New
what they
Vegas,
deliver on launch with New Vegas and KOTOR 2.
which, people still say New Vegas is the best Fallout.
It absolutely is.
It is. Next was a sci-fi horror shooter from Bloober Team, the people that made the Silent Hill 2 remake. Chronos:
Yep.
The New Dawn looks like their version of Dead Space. Man, my comment I wrote on this was, "Hope you like tentacles," because goddamn,
Yeah.
there
Another
were a
gross
lot of
looking gross
tentacles.
game.
I'll play it. I'm a sucker for survival horror games, and I love me some Dead Space vibes, and that's why
Yeah.
I
Looks pretty solid.
never played. What was that one game made by the ex Dead Space people?
Um.
Shit.
Dang, I can't remember. The Redacted is the name of the game that came like
Afterwards.
after it in the same universe.
Wow.
Josh Duhamel plays the lead character. Chronos
Mm,
Project?
I can't remember what that game's called.
Nah.
Wow. That's
No, Chronos is the name of this game.
yeah.
Dumbass. I'm
But
so
it
dumb.
starts with the C. It'll come to us.
Yeah. Callisto Protocol.
Callisto Protocol, that's what it is. And
There we go.
I didn't play that, so maybe I'm lying. Who knows about loving Dead Space vibes.
It's fair.
Then we had an ESO trailer with some good vibes, good for that.
Yeah.
Aphelion, which looks like a Aphelion? Aphelion?
I
Don't Nod
don't know what
Studio.
that looks like.
It's a Don't Nod Studios game. It looks like a
Yeah.
survival game. Looks like a thing. Uh,
Yep. And it's sponsored by the European Space Association.
so that's
I'm
cool.
sure it's boring.
It's probably boring. And
Yeah.
it looks like it looks like they also made Jusant, which is about climbing. It looks like one of those vibey
Yeah.
games, but maybe not. Looks like there's a weird
No, I
twist in it.
agree, it definitely looked like that.
Next to the game that I kinda got hyped for when they showed it, There Are No Ghosts at the Grand.
Yeah! It
It's
looks so good,
a
it's a
s
musical.
it's a musical, it's a city renovation game that you do with a
Yep.
gun, but there's also, like, an Eldritch
Um,
twist to it.
yeah,
Everything about
like,
this screamed
there's a
like, "I
little
wanna
bit
play
of,
this."
Dishonored's The Outsider in there. Yeah, it's weird, it's such a cool combination of concepts. Looks like there's a ton of game here. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I thought it was just a cozy game at first, and it really flipped on me,
Yeah,
and I was like,
it
"Oh,
really opens up.
I really like this." Next, Age of Mythology Retold, Heavenly Spear, you can play as Japanese gods now. Cool.
Yeah, Japanese gods, cool.
Now here's one that it looks like a Korean game called
This is the
Mudang
most disappointing name.
Mudang Two
It's
Hearts.
Yeah, it's called Moodang, but it's not like Moodang, the fucking adorable hippo that took the internet by storm. It's also spelt differently, but it will evoke that name every time I go to play this game if it ends up being good. It looked kind of cool.
Yeah, it looks like a third-person shooter about politics and rage
Yeah,
zombies. I mean, it
yeah.
looked crazy.
And it looks like you kind of unlock your own rage zombie thing, which reminded me of the Korean what do you call it? Korean television series, Sweet Home. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know that one. Next, Planet of Lana 2. A lot of people love Planet of Lana. I never played it. Supposed to be pretty good.
That one completely missed me. I
Say
actually didn't know what Planet Alana was.
it came out the same around the same time as Tears of the Kingdom. So
Oh, see, and I was underway at that time.
I made the decision of actually playing Tears of the Kingdom and fell in love with it. And then
Yeah.
after that, a couple we can just kind of fly through. Fallout 76 fishing trailer. Fallout 76, great game. I might get back in for some fishing. I love video game fishing. Solo
It
leveling
is true.
Arise Overdrive, which is a four-player co-op
Eh,
solo leveling game, which I think is just a
yeah.
based off their phone game they have. So
Yeah,
going with low
because I
hopes.
think Solo Leveling Arise is the phone game.
Yeah, I think
So
it's
I
just
think
the
this is maybe
console
just
port
an
of that.
updated or a repackage.
Yeah, so then there was Animo, which looks like a
Yep,
monster collector
Animo.
game where you turn into them, sort of like Chia almost, if you remember that from a year or two
Chia
ago.
or it also kind of had a similar vibe to Nino Kuni, but instead of throwing them out, you would switch over to them.
Yeah, didn't look like much. Hype news, I
No.
need to go download this demo, Tony Hawk 3 plus 4,
Woo!
Michelangelo as a player as a character.
Woo!
And
Yeah, I like that they use the new Nickelodeon
it's
designs
a
from the recent Seth Rogen produce one
they're really good
for Mikey.
designs.
Also, they had a Bam Margera in there, which
Yeah,
I
with the
heard that
music.
Tony Hawk fought for him to be in there, so
Yeah,
that's cool.
really great.
Bam is, for anyone who didn't know, maybe grew up with him, Bam Margera hit some real rough times, has said some really stupid shit, and has done some even stupider shit, and has really tried to atone for that and come back from it. And I'm glad to see, good people sticking up for someone.
Yeah, also
Unless he's shitty again, then fuck him.
yeah. Hopefully it's all this is all his upswing. But there's a
Yeah,
demo out, so go play that. I will definitely check that
yeah,
out.
absolutely. It looks so good.
Next is Fate's End. It's just a very gorgeous side-scrolling action game. I don't know how to describe it other than it has a beautiful art style, some really cool looking action, and like
Yeah.
looks just fucking awesome.
This was probably the one at the Xbox showcase that got me the most excited. There was just something about the art style and the way like that the cutscene renders flowed into the actual fight animations. The fights look really sick. Yeah, this game blew me away.
Yeah,
It's
looks
this
amazing.
and There Are No Ghosts in the Grand are two games that I had never heard of prior to this.
I think those are both
And I'm
world
really excited
premieres. That's
for.
why they.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think those are both of the world premieres, and they were show stealers. Next,
Well, they are and world premiere also was put up for world premiere trailers. So, some
maybe.
things were already announced.
Okay, yeah. I hadn't heard of either of these, and I think I'm
Yeah, me either.
relatively plugged in. Next, this one's for you, the Gears remake. It's coming out
Hell
August
yeah.
26th, PS5 on launch.
I don't know, is this a full remake, remaster? What are we talking here? It's unclear.
It
It's a
look
reloaded.
I think they're porting it to the new Unreal game. I don't it's not the Ultimate
Oh,
Edition, but it's gonna be like
okay.
4K 60, multiplayer up to 120 frames, crossplay, cross
Crossplay.
progression. Yes, I will play Gears of War with you.
Yay.
Maybe it'll finally stick with me. Uh, and the
Yay.
thing that made my heart skip a beat, even though I knew it was coming, Persona 4 Revival, correction.
Revival.
We're not getting this
Yeah.
game for another year or two. Like they showed
No,
basically
they
nothing.
didn't show shit in that trailer either.
But
It
the
was
mu-
not even a trailer.
but
It
the
was
mu-
just, "Look, we have the engine built."
but the music drop kind of hit me pretty hard.
Yeah, the music I mean, Persona 4 is the best Persona, I think, hands down.
I would say that because it's my
I
first
love
one.
it.
Yeah.
Yep, it's so good.
I didn't play 3 remake. I probably won't, but I will definitely go back and play 4 remake. That was
Yeah,
made my
I
Vita
think that's a good
purchase
choice.
worth it every single dollar I spent on it. Uh, the yearly reminder, Sea of Thieves still exists, still gets new stuff.
Yeah, cool. Good for you folks.
Next, the thing that kind of got its win stolen by Marvel. We've had 2 tag team fighting games announced at both Sony and Xbox. This
Yes,
one,
I will say though, Marvel looked so cool, had such a unique and nifty presentation, and then this one.
we got the Invincible Versus, based off the
Yep, cool
Invincible
name.
comic
I
book
like that.
and Amazon show series. It gave me very Mortal Kombat vibes. Did you get that vibe from it at all?
Yes, absolutely. They are really going hardcore into the Mortal Kombat. Invincible is a very gory fighting show slash comic book.
I also meant just from like the style of
Oh, the actual hits? Yeah.
how they hit and like how like the people react to it and like you do your
Yep.
combos. It looks very Mortal Kombat Injustice-y. But I
Yeah,
don't it
each
wasn't
hit is
another Realms
very
game.
tactile. It seems like each part of a combo can be broken and moved into or out of, and like obviously we saw Adam Eve and or maybe it was just Adam, Eve build up like a super like you would, probably
Yeah.
like a low health super.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
and that is a big thing in Invincible as well, is people, getting to that low health moment and then going fucking off. Props to my boy Rexplode out there.
yeah, so I mean hopefully that's good. I want a good
Yeah,
Invincible game that's not a phone game.
yeah.
Then
I want a good Invincible action game, like an action RPG. I'm not too excited about a fighter.
yeah, it being a
Like I
fighter.
said, this looks you hit it. This looks like Mortal Kombat, but I mean, I love the Invincible characters. I'm excited to play as Alan the Alien and Battle Beast, but we'll
Oh
see.
yeah. I need to go back and actually finish the Invincible comics.
This is true, and the Invincible show. I
Yeah,
mean,
they're
not
like
finished, but get current.
yeah, I've only watched the first season. So
Yep.
now we're kind of getting to the closeout of the show now. Final Fantasy Remake Intergrade is coming to Xbox finally. I think that first one came out
Cool.
in 2020. So, right? 2020, 2018.
Yeah, something like that.
So that's finally coming. Also, better bigger props out now. Final Fantasy 16. Please play that
Yep.
game. Not
2-day
enough
date of recording.
yeah. Please play that game. It is so freaking good. Not enough people
Yeah.
play it. It is absolutely amazing. I love it. And if your name is Joshua, like mine, you will have your boy Clive Ben Starr just constantly yelling your name. And I don't care how straight you
Yeah.
are, that shit will do something to you.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 16, very sick game. One of the best Final Fantasy stories, and definitely some of the best Final Fantasy gameplay. Uh, Full on action game though for this time. So if you have any hesitance for a Final Fantasy game due to its turn basiness or its RPG ness, keep in mind this is more in the vein of your Kingdom Hearts
Devil May
jump
Cry. This
around
is
and
more
slash a
like
lot.
Devil May Cry, anything. Like, I
Yeah.
would say Devil May Cry is more of a role playing game than Final Fantasy 16 is.
Yeah.
You got more options,
Yeah.
but man, it's a fucking good game. Now,
Yeah, all of the skill trees in Final Fantasy 16 just lead to the same point effectively.
yes,
Like,
they
you
do.
just
You hit
buy every
harder.
skill.
Next, we have a Double Fine game called Keeper. Looks like a platformer about being a walking lighthouse. It's Double Fine.
Yeah.
It's going to be weird. You looks like it might be a little emotional.
Yeah, we'll see. This one didn't really capture me, but I do love Double Fine, and this trailer was obviously intentionally a little vague and weird. But it is about a sentient lighthouse that just wakes up and starts walking around. We did kind of bury the lead on that one.
I mean, I'll play. Double Fine's great. I still need to get around to
Yep.
Psychonauts 2, but I want to replay Psychonauts 1 because I haven't played that in like
Oh
a
yeah,
long,
that's a
long
good choice.
time. All right, but that's the end of the show for the Xbox showcase. Oh, but wait,
Yeah.
Jarvis, there's one more thing.
One more.
We got to close out the show with a really cool game that you would never expect it to come out. It's
Yep.
Black Ops fucking 7. Really cool
I
trailer,
actually Yeah,
but
really cool trailer. I was like, "What is this new?" Like, because I'm not a Call of Duty guy, so if these are characters I'm supposed to recognize, I absolutely did not.
yeah, they did a face
And
reveal like that was supposed to mean something. I'm like, nothing.
we
I
said his name too.
he
I think
said
it was
I think
like
he said
Menendez.
I think he said Mason.
Mendez?
I think he's
Mason?
yeah, Mason.
Good lord.
That pops up at some
I
point.
heard a completely different name, but that's probably on my fault. But yeah, it looks sick, and it did not look like a Black Ops game. It looked kind of like I thought it was because he does look similar. I thought it was somehow the Evil Within 3. I was like, how did they
Ooh,
get the rights to this?
that I mean, they own it. They own Tango.
But they're dead. The studio no longer
Yeah,
exists.
but
So
they own the rights. But let me tell you right now,
I don't know.
corporations can do what they want when they own things. Uh,
Oh yeah, no, like Microsoft could. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
but
So
it feels
yeah.
like such a look, it's a cool trailer, I'll grant it. But
That's
man,
a
does
cool
that feel
trailer.
like such a fuck you of a one more thing? Like
Yeah, who gives a shit?
announcing an annual Call of Duty. Granted, it is the first time we've had like since COD 3 a very much back-to-back sequel because
Yes,
Black Ops
that
6
was
was last year.
surprising, and also, Activision said that they were going to be moving to a biannual release. So that was kinda surprising that they have already moved away from that.
I'm scared it's gonna be like Modern Warfare 3 was, where it's just like they had the campaign was just a Warzone map.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but it looks like they're doing more just from that cinematic
Yeah, this
alone.
Yeah, exactly. To focus so hard on the cinematic trailer and not even have the cinematic trailer be about, guys doing cool stuff with guns makes me really think that they're probably trying to focus more on the story.
Yeah, it makes me
Black
actually
Ops has always been their, fun experimental story area.
yeah, because I know a lot of people talked about Black Ops 6 had apparently a really banger single player.
The story was okay. The missions were really fun.
Yeah, because it's made by Raven, very
Yes.
famous classic shooter developer that got absorbed into the Call of Duty minds. So maybe
Yep.
they saw what Raven did. They're like, hey, let's go make a single player game. Because now that they're on Game Pass,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. Because you've got Warzone, right? That's your bread and butter. It's gonna keep churning. I wouldn't be surprised if the multiplayer got kind of wrapped in with Warzone, and then the like releases are just their single player content like that. And that's how
Yeah.
they push
Yeah.
out their new big update is like, hey, new big single player mission, kind of like you would with a Destiny, where you have the big
Yeah.
single player, like not single player, but the big story expansion that
Yeah.
gives you a
Your
lot of
campaign
raids
expansion.
and night strikes and all that shit. And then
Yep.
that's how you progress it forward. Maybe you start making it more into a live service game instead of like a Madden where it's every year we have to get a new one out type game.
Yeah, because as you were saying, with their kind of, standalone Warzone stuff, if they move all of the multiplayer over there, that it's all they need to do exactly what you're describing. And like as it stands right now, when you download it on console, you have to separate these things out into different downloads anyways.
Yeah,
Like
same on PC.
literally, it's like, do you want to do multiplayer first at 1,000 gig download, or would you like to do single player first at 500 gig download?
Yeah, there's the same thing on PC. Even like I like that they just don't even bury the lead anymore. Like when you
Yeah.
start the game, it's like, do you want to like where do you want to start? Do you just want to be in the multiplayer menu?
Yeah, what do you want to do?
Like, do you even want to be in that single player menu? Like, there's no
Yeah.
option anymore. It's like you're just here now.
Yeah.
But man, I thought that was kind of a downer way to end the show. Like
Absolutely.
I thought we were gonna see Fable or something like that. I thought it was gonna be the Fable
Yeah.
release date trailer, like
Yeah.
March 2026. That game is not coming out this year, but I thought we like get the
Nope.
2026 like it's coming thing.
I think personally, I think Fable's gonna be hitting 2027. Um, I think even if they announce it for 2026, I think we're
Mm,
looking 2027.
I don't
Just
like.
knowing everything about, Molyneux.
Is it still Peter Molyneux? No, it's made by the Forza people now.
So he
Turn.
has well, then why even call it Fable? That's so rude.
I mean, he doesn't work on The Sims either, and they still make Sims games.
Well, yes, but that's like its own thing, and he wasn't like so specifically into The Sims.
Did he make all three Fables?
Like at least I think as creative director for the third, but yes on the first two. Pretty sure he was the full director on all three.
Huh? How about that?
Designers listed as Peter Molyneux and Josh Atkins. So
Well,
yep.
I
I
mean,
don't
look,
know. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't really bother me. Fable 2 is a game I love a lot. Fable 1 and 3 are games that I kind of like. And then I have no real strong feelings towards like Black and White or any other weird stuff that Lionhead did. Or is
I
that all they've done?
Black and
That
White.
might be all
If
they've done.
maybe Spore. Spore was a thing. That was a Peter Molyneux joint.
Yes. Yeah, that definitely is.
I've also never been a Peter Molyneux guy. Like I don't play The
Yeah.
Sims. I never touched Fable mainly because I didn't have a OG Xbox or a 360 growing up. So and
Fable 2 fucking slaps.
yeah, all that mishman. You can't just go play Fable. I can't just go buy Fable 2 now, which is crazy. It's
Probably
remastered.
can on your Xbox or on PC.
It's not on PC. Fable 2, I don't think got a PC port. I'm pretty sure.
Huh.
You can fact
Yeah,
check
probably
me,
not.
but if so, I think it's Windows for games for Windows Live, so it probably doesn't work
Yeah.
anymore, which is so sad. But that was Summer Game Fest. We did miss the
Yep.
feature game show, so there was probably some cool indie games. It was hosted by Laura Bailey and Matt Mercer of Critical Role fame and
Oh,
Voices of
I didn't
Everything.
even know that this year.
Uh, so some cool stuff probably got announced there. Sorry we missed it, but we're already running long at like an hour and a half. Do you have any closing thoughts to
Yeah.
Summer Game Fest? Like, what were you thinking? How'd you feel about it?
No big closing thoughts. For how I felt about it, I started out a little whelmed, as we were saying. But then as it went on, especially into the Xbox stuff, which had a lot more, I think, unique games and just games that I didn't expect to see. I was pretty excited and very happy with the overall output. Obviously, the big games announced at Summer Game Fest. All the Capcom stuff, like that's huge. That's awesome.
Running the show.
But there was just a lot of bloat.
Yeah, I don't think it's as bloated as some year. I think last year was a little bit more bloated.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, yeah,
but I
absolutely.
think we could have trimmed this down by at least 30 minutes. Easy.
Yeah, easy.
And you could keep your ads in there, Jeff. I can trim this in
Yeah,
30 minutes off this and we can keep the ads.
yep, there
But
we go.
I think that's a good place to.
Also, I don't really love having a crowd. I'll still always say it. They just always annoy me for
Yeah,
some
it
reason.
doesn't add anything to it.
I don't know.
Uh, I do like the people come out presenting. I do like seeing the developers.
Yes.
I like
Yep,
that.
that I do like.
But sometimes the crowd's just wrong. Like they didn't really fucking pop for the Marvel fighting game at all.
Yeah, that was wild. Such a weird choice.
Uh,
They popped harder for Grounded 2, which again, I'm sure is gonna be very good, but come on. Marvel, Arc System Works.
look, the video game community, like wide reaching, they're like fighting games are over there. It's kind of like they have like
Oh,
their
yeah,
own
that's
niche, like
true.
kind of like how sports games have their niche and racing games have their
Yeah,
niche. And RTSs, like people don't get excited for RTSs, they don't get excited for fighting games, they don't get excited for sports games. Like
yeah.
your
This is true.
mainstream video game person. But Jarvis, I think that's it for video games because we need to start wrapping it up. It's getting a little late over here.
I know.
So let's end how we end every podcast with a recommendation of a non-video game thing. We do this every week because life is not all about video games. Sometimes it's about some real life media shit. So Jarvis, Do you have a recommendation this week while I try to rack my brain because I forgot we did this section, and I'm the
I
one who
didn't forget, but I just haven't had anything that's really been wowing me. Like, I bet I've watched a few things. I watched, a little bit of Bet, the Netflix English adaptation of, Kakegurui, the, gambling anime, but it didn't really capture me. I thought it would. Um, was hoping for something a little cheesy and fun, and it is, but I don't know. You know what? I'll just go to the vault, instead of something new. Um Oh, here we go, actually. The Adventure Zone started their new campaign, Royale. This is 64 wizards going in to fight, and the last remaining person through all of the challenges will, get to double up on their power. And if you lose your ability to do your one special magic thing forever. This is another Griffin DM'd game. They are not using D&D. I don't remember what system they are using. They might actually be using D&D. I don't remember a lot of roles in the first episode. But yeah, just launched this last week with their new season, Royale. I always recommend the Adventure Zone. So, shout
nice.
out to the boys.
I also haven't seen anything new that's really captured me. Like I'm still watching Killing Eve. I did this week go see a re-release of a old movie. I went and saw
It's true.
Dogma, which is a Kevin Smith movie about two angels trying to get back into heaven, but if they do, it's going to end the world and all of creation, and how the last scion has to stop them. And it sounds very fantasy and holy and all that, and it's not. It's a Kevin Smith movie famous for Clerks and Jay and Silent Bob, and it is effectively Jay and
Yeah.
Silent Bob versus angels. And they
Yep.
did a it's been stuck in a weird legal situation where the Weinsteins held the rights to it for a long time and would not give it up. It had
Yep.
like no Blu-ray release and all this stuff, but they finally got it back, and they did a like a anniversary 25th anniversary like re-release into theaters, and it had like extended scenes and stuff too, which was pretty cool.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, which I didn't know about that going in. I was like, man, I don't remember this happened. I don't remember this. So it's just like some scenes are a little longer and like certain aspects. What a fun movie. If you are very deeply religious, maybe don't watch that movie if you can't laugh at religion. But if you can laugh at religion, or are no longer religious or had a falling out from a church, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
And
And I
it's
think it's not to say that it's all just, relentlessly negative. It's just negative about the negative aspects of organized religion itself. I
yes.
think also, folks, specifically Christian folks, would still be able to pull out a good amount of joy from this movie because it is a movie that, does posit that God and angels and the devil are all real. So,
Yeah, but it's
you
done
know,
through that Jay and Silent Bob lens. So if you like
yep.
Kevin Smith humor, you've probably seen it. Like
Yeah, this is
if you're a
true.
Kevin Smith fan, you've seen it, you've torrented it because that's the only way you could really get it. But now there's a new,
And if you're
prettier
not, then
version.
it is a very good one to start with.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of his better movies, honestly. Like I think it's
Yep, it has my, probably my most used Kevin Smith quote, which is just Jay saying, "Gears," after he has destroyed a car, and they are
oh yeah.
screaming, "What gear are you in? Gear!"
Yeah, that was a
So
really
good.
good, movie theater experience because the only people who were going to go see the re-release of Dogma were Kevin Smith fans, and
Yeah.
man, they were like, I don't use this word lightly, they were chortling. They were laughing. Like, I heard, like,
Good,
at
good.
the dumbest, the side jokes, like, who laughs at that? They're just dying. I was like, "Man, good for you."
Yeah,
But that was a good time,
nice.
but I think
That
that's
sounds
gonna
like a good time.
It was. And I think that's gonna be all for us now because we're running long. It's extra special long Summer Game Fest podcast. Woo!
Yep, it's gonna happen at least once a year.
Once a year, and we'll be back in your feeds next week, uh, talking about something.
Yeah.
I don't know what we'll be talking about, but if you want to know,
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on. We might have a little bit of a grab baggy week coming up.
I think Rematch comes
We do
out.
have a lot of demos also coming out. What'd you say comes out?
I think Rematch comes out next week, but it might be after when we record.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. So yeah, well, maybe we'll just talk about the demos and stuff we've been playing.
Yeah,
And,
I'm probably
and
gonna play a
yeah,
lot of
the
demos.
Dreamhaven Wildgate beta does launch tomorrow.
Yeah,
So
so
we can also probably talk about that a little bit.
yeah, and if you want to find out what we actually do talk about, you can subscribe to us here either on YouTube or follow us on Spotify, where you can leave us a nice review and like us, so we can
Absolutely.
be seen by more people. And if you've got friends that you love and you really want to torture them with our dulcet tones, recommend us to them.
La, 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 la.
But that's gonna be all for us
Yeah,
for now. Jarvis, can you take us out of
just
here?
remember. Yeah, absolutely. It's dangerous to go alone. Take us. Bye.
Bye.